So we're ready when you are, but there's no rush.
Yeah, you can yeah, cool. I just what you get when you realise you've probably done too much in one day. But
Oh,
there we
Nicola's
go.
had a mega day. Tell us about your day first. Go on. It's
So
been
I
pretty.
was at the Real Business Showcase with Linda and Jen, and I launched my membership this morning. So I have yeah, been frantically sorting that out and then getting ready for tonight. So yeah, it's it's been a bit crazy, but good
Sweet
crazy, all good.
celebration of success, Nicola. You've already got a number of people in your membership, haven't
Yeah,
you?
seven
Have you? Well
ladies
done.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
in
That's
my
amazing.
membership. So yeah, it's just been a bit frantic, but yes. And I must confess, I have not quite finished the presentation. So some of it is going to be a bit off the fly, but hopefully all the tips are there, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Can I share my screen? Have you no, you
Yeah.
have not. Give me
Sorry.
permission, please.
I'll give you permission to share your screen. You should be the host now.
Perfect. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so yes, as Inda said, my talk today is on tech. I know a lot of people don't like tech, but I love it, so you don't have to. So that's all good. I just go through a little bit of my plan for today. So I did a poll in the village group asking you what kind of tech tools you wanted to learn about. Canva got the most votes, so I'm going to be mainly focusing on Canva. I'm going to give you 10 tips in total, 5 for if you're using the free version and 5 for if you use it for the pro version. And then I'm going to give you 5 tips for MailerLite and 5 tips for Google Workspace. And then I'm going to let you know a bit about how you can get ongoing support from me through This Mum Loves Tech. And then hopefully I've planned it that there's enough time to do some Q&A at the end, but we'll see how we go. So for a little bit, for those of you who don't know me, hello, I'm Nicola Walsh, and I am the founder of Nicola Walsh Design and Digital and This Mum Loves Tech. So I actually just had a rebrand, and I was New Wisdom Design and Digital, but I'm now Nicola Walsh Design and Digital. I decided to put my kind of business behind my name. So yeah, that's where we're at now. And yeah, as I said, I love tech, so you don't have to. And I provide tech solutions for busy mums in business through Zoom training sessions. So it can either be one-to-one sessions or group sessions. I also offer done for you services, and I have an online community and a membership, which I launched today. And the main areas of tech that I specialize in are MailerLite, Google Workspace, Canva, WordPress websites, and Pinterest marketing. But I do love a tech challenge, so I'm happy to troubleshoot lots of platforms, but I'll always let you know upfront if it's a platform I'm not familiar with. I have lots of great people in my community who are fellow tech lovers who I can pass you on to if I don't know how to solve the problem for you.
Nicola, I'm really sorry because now you're host. Jen's been shut out of the meeting. Would you mind letting her
Oh,
back in?
yeah, no problem.
Now I can't see anyone coming in and out. I'm so sorry.
If you check, oh, have you not got co-host?
No,
Oh, okay. You have to
I
do
don't
that in
think.
your
I might
Zoom.
have. Tell me how to do that because maybe I'm
Oh, you
maybe I
have
did.
to do it in your Zoom settings, on the desktop. So, like on your laptop. So if you haven't toggled that, then you won't be able to set
Oh,
people's.
okay. I'll do that later then.
Yeah, and then in the future you can just make me a co-host, and you'll still have all of the host features. There you
See,
go. There's a bonus tech tip for you that
see,
was in my presentation.
the genius of tech, and I am not.
So I know what it's like to run a business around family life. I'm a mum to 2 cheeky chaps that are in that photo there. That's a bit of an old photo. They're a bit older than that now, but they keep me on my toes. So I'm always trying to find harmony between working on my business and being there for my boys. If you were at one of the village calls earlier in the year, you'll know that I don't like the word balance because it implies scales and things going up and down, whereas harmony signifies things working together, because the reality is sometimes we need to spend more time doing business stuff, and then other times you get a call from school that your kid's ill and family stuff has to 100% come first. And that's why it's my mission to help fellow mums in business simplify their online marketing by making essential tech tools easy to use and accessible. That way you can focus on what matters most, running and growing your businesses and spending time with your family. Right, so let's get started. So that's a little bit about me, and let's get into the tech. So we're going to start with Canva. For those of you who aren't familiar with Canva, it's an online graphic design tool that allows you to create stunning visuals for your business without any design experience. I would say it's one of the most used tools in my online toolbox. I use it most days for both business and personal projects, and I've got a few examples there. That's one of a photo that I did for my husband for his 40th. The one in the middle is a Facebook banner, and then the one on the end is some of the marketing materials that I had printed for the Your Business Showcase. So my background is in graphic design. I used to be a children's book illustrator. So I am familiar with the Adobe products, Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. But ever since I discovered Canva, apart from maybe the odd professional logo, or if I want to do a really detailed cutout of something, I do everything in Canva. Like everything you see here was created in Canva. Like I didn't go anywhere else for it. And yeah, that is why I love it so much. But why should you use Canva for your business? Well, social media obviously is like the first one that comes to mind, and there's hundreds of templates on all different platforms ready for you to customize and post for your business. Marketing materials, as I said, I did all of my Your Business Showcase. I had a roller banner, I had flyers, business cards, pop-up stands, and all of that was designed in Canva. Presentations. You can create slides and record presentations for your clients, and just like this one that I am presenting to you now, it's coming to you live from Canva. So yeah, it's you can pretty much do anything to do with marketing materials, and then I also use it for website, blog, and email marketing graphics. You can create headers, banners, infographics, basically anything for your business. And if you're not a fan of design, there are lots of templates that you can use, which you can then adapt to your brand fonts, your colors, add your own photos, all that kind of thing. But the basic layout is then all done for you. So I mentioned I'm going to give you some free and pro tips. I'm just going to give you a little bit of the difference between the two. So the great thing is you can get started with Canva for free, and you have your ability to make all your marketing material on the free plan. But there are limitations, and that is mainly to do with the templates. You won't get that many in the pro version. A lot of in the free version, sorry, a lot of them are pro templates, especially the ones that are like quite highly designed. So yeah, that is the main difference. Canva Pro costs about £100 for the year if you get an individual license. And then once you have Pro, you have access to all the templates, all their fonts, all their imagery. A lot of the images, again, are only available with the Pro license because that gives you the right kind of licenses to use them. And that's kind of one of the many reasons why I do think Canva Pro is really worth the investment. You get a free trial. I think it's for about 14 days. So you can have a look what you think, maybe try out some of the tips that I'm going to show you in a minute. And I just wanted to give you a quick note on pricing. It's something that's just kind of come out with Canva, is that they're changing the pricing for their team subscriptions. So if you do have any team subscriptions, it's now going to cost you £99 per team member, and you have to have a minimum of 3 people on your team. So what I'm doing is I'm downgrading to an individual pro license. So that is then the £100 if you buy it for a year. It's more if you pay monthly. And if you don't want to get caught out with this, you'll need to transfer all your team designs to you as the kind of individual person, delete all the people from your teams, and then you'll have to share the designs with them individually. So that is still available on the Pro plan. You can share individual files with people, but obviously when it's on the team plan, you could have collected all the files together and shared them all in one go, which is obviously easier. But having the individual plan and sharing them individually will save you a couple of £100. So it's definitely worth doing it that way. Right, let's get on to the tips. Here are my 5 tips for the free version of Canva. Now, I'm hoping this is going to work and it's not too jumpy for you, but what I'm hoping to do is tell you the tip, then go into Canva and show you it. But we'll have to see how that works. So my first tip is to turn on rulers and guides. Now, this helps you with positioning. You can create borders on your files, because the key of good design is lining things up and giving things space to breathe. Often I see people that put things really close to the edge, or things are like not quite in a line with each other, and it just makes things not look as professional as they can do. And turning on rulers and guides and using the positioning tools really helps with that. So let's see if this works. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, and then I've got another version of Canva open so I can then reshare. Let's see how this goes. And I can show you it in action. Yes, wonderful. Right, let's get into this one. So if you go, I am in a pro version here, but if you go up to File, Settings, and Show Rulers and Guides, can you see here I've just taken them off? And if you go back and put them back on again, you get these rulers here. And what you can do, I don't know if you can see on my document already. So this is a Instagram reel cover. But what I've done is I've put in the guidelines for the grid. So I now know that what is inside of this square in the middle is what's going to show up on the grid. But this is the whole size of the whole image. And how I do that is I will create a square and I will make that the 180 by 180, which is the Instagram grid size for the moment. It may be changing, but that's a whole nother story. And then I go to position and I make sure it's in the middle and centered. And then I bring the lines down at the top and at the bottom. Oh, and that's not very straight, but you get the idea there. And then I take the square away and I've got my guides there, and I know that anything I put in there, when I then upload that as the cover to my reel, that what's in that square is what's going to show on my grid. And it just it's one of the ways you can use grids and the rulers and the guides, and I find it super, super helpful. So let's stop sharing, and then I'm going to go back to my presentation. Is it going to let me do that? Hold on 1 second. I may go through the tips and then share at the end. It might just get a bit backwards and forwardsy. Right. Number 2, organizing your files and moving folders. So once you get into Canva, you can end up with a lot of files really quickly, and sometimes it's difficult to find them. So using folders allows you to arrange your files so they're easy to find and copy if you want to use them again. And let me just see, actually, because I might just be able to do this a quicker way. There we go. Let's do it that way. Right, excellent. This is much quicker. So if I go back to my home, so just a quick note about the home screen. Canva have recently updated their home screen, but they only did it for like the first 1 million people, I think it was. So this is what the new one looks like, which I think they are rolling out to everyone by the end of the year. So if you go into your Canva and you think, oh my God, mine doesn't look like that, it was probably you're still on the older version. And this is what it will look like when you get the update. So how you organize your files into folders is you go up to here where the 3 little dots are, click on that, and then you can say here, move to folder. If you already have folders existing, you can then save stuff into a folder, or you can just create a new one if you haven't got any. So if you're working on multiple projects, or say you're doing the marketing material I was doing for Your Business Showcase, I could create a Your Business Showcase folder, and I could have saved all my files into there. And if I want to come back to working on them again, I can just open that folder rather than having to scroll through the hundreds and hundreds of Canva files that I have now got, because I have done quite a fair few designs. Right, let's go back to my top tips. And number 3, finding elements in your brand colors. Now, I'll talk about it later, but one of the workshops that is in my membership is on creating a brand kit in Canva. And as part of it, you'll choose like 5 to 7 brand colors. And once you have those brand colors, there's a lot you can do with them. And in this tip, I will show you how you can find elements within Canva that match your brand colors. So if we just go back to this file here again, I'll open up this one here. So if I click on this element here, I can get the hex value of this color. So it's brought up the colors here. And then I can copy this color. Then if I'm doing a search for something, so if I go to elements and search for, say, a laptop, up with this little like menu thing. I don't know what else to call that little symbol, but it's a like filter menu. You can then press on this add a new color and put that hex value in that you've just copied, and then it's going to bring you pictures, can you see here, that are now matching your brand colors. Now unfortunately most of them when you do that are pro images, but for example that one there, because it hasn't got that little crown sign on, that's a free one. So now I could use a purple laptop if I'm doing a kind of post and I want to keep it looking in my brand colors. That way you don't have to search through again hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Canva files to find something that will kind of fit your brand. So that's my tip number 3. Tip number 4, naming each file on a page. Now, if you're using multiple pages within your Canva doc, if you download all of them, it just gives them a number, which is not actually that helpful, especially if you're then trying to locate them in your desktop. What you can do is actually name each individual page on your Canva doc, and when it downloads, it will keep that name. So then it's really easy for you to then go through your downloads and find that file. So I'm just going to show you how you do that. So, oh, my thing's in the way here. There we go. It's where it says page 1 up here. You can actually name it here. It's a lot easier to see if you go to this grid view at the bottom here. And can you see I've actually named these the date that they went out. So this is a bit of a mishmash of files, but now when I download those files, it will keep that file name. So I'll know which file each of these is for. Yeah, so that is tip number 4. And then tip number 5, switching between the Canva app and the desktop app. It's actually one of the questions that came up when we was at the showcase event, and it was about getting photos off your camera, of your phone to then use. This is the way I forgot. This is actually the way that I do it. If I'm doing something to do with Canva anyway, is I have the app on my phone that's logged into the same account. So because I prefer to design on a laptop, you just have a bigger screen. It's a lot easier to move things around because you can do it with the mouse or the trackpad or whatever, and you haven't got to do it with your fingers and all that kind of thing. So what I do is I will maybe start the design on my desktop. I'll then go to my phone, open the Canva app, which is logged into the same account, open that same file that I've just created on my desktop, go to the upload and upload my photos. Then if you refresh the file on the desktop version, those photos will then appear in your uploads. Now I'll see if I can show you that so that it makes any bit of sense. I realize that one is not so clear. So if we look in my uploads here, these are the last things that I uploaded. And if I now go to my phone, I'm going to upload a photo from my photos from today. Oh, let's upload the one of me and Jen and Linda from today. So I'm going to go into my Canva app. I know you can't see this on my phone, on the screen, but hopefully this will make sense. And because I'm gonna click on this upload icon here on my phone, and that, because it's on my phone, it's automatically gone to kind of my photo storage. And I'm now going to click on the photo, and that's now uploaded from on my phone version. If I now refresh this here and go to my uploads, you can see now that photo is now come onto my desktop version. And I haven't had to send it to myself. I haven't had to email it, WeTransfer it, all that kind of stuff. I've literally just put it from my phone into Canva and using it between the 2 different versions. And the same for if I want to download something. So if I'm doing a go back to if I'm doing a reel, for example, and I want that on my phone. If I've made the cover on the desktop, I'll then open the app on my phone and download the file directly to the downloads of my phone, and I can then upload it to Instagram or wherever I'm using it, rather than downloading it onto my desktop, emailing it to myself, opening it on my phone. It's all done through Canva. Yeah, so that is my 5 tips for the free version. Let's go on to the pro version and the really exciting tips, I think. And as I said before, I really do think pro is worth the investment because of the kind of things it can do. This is where it really kind of rivals the kind of Adobe programs in its functionality. So number 1 is background remover. And this is a super useful tool if you want to create cutouts. And then you get like plus and minus controls, so you can add things or take things away. So if I go back into my file here and I use that photo that I just took of the 3 of us, obviously it's got this background in it. If I don't want that, and go up to here, and you can see it's got a little pro symbol to it. So it's the background remover thing. Let it do its magic. And now you can see it's completely taken that background away, and I have a lovely picture of the 3 of us that I can now put on to my brand colors. And it was literally just by 1 click. So that is a super cool feature.
Can I just, sorry to jump in. Can you, which button did you press to do that?
Oh yeah. So if I go back
Sorry, you did it so fast. I was like,
so this is on the new layout of
yeah, I think I have this layout, so I recognise it. I just didn't see what button you pressed to take
so
the
along
back.
the top here, you've got all these options like edit, and it's literally
Did you
there
just
now.
click on the picture to get that to come up in the first place?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Click on the picture and then you get the background remover.
Thank
I
you.
think on the old version you would have to go to edit, and then it would be one of the options there, yeah, like this. So if you don't have the new version, if you click on the picture and then edit, you'll then get background remover that way. Because like the new and the old version, like you could have pro on the old version and you'd still be able to do the pro features. It'd just be on the old layout. But like I said, they are transferring, they haven't said when, but they are transferring people over to the new one at some point.
Thank you.
No problem. Download files with transparent background. So this is for if you've got PNG files, if you've got like logos or icons or things, you can then download them with the transparent backgrounds. So say I just wanted this live icon here with nothing else behind it, so I could then maybe like use it on my website and stuff. Like I use icons to kind of illustrate my services and things like that. I would want them on a transparent background because then I can put them onto any background color on my website. So when you go to share and download, when you've got a PNG, you can then download it with a transparent background, and that is a pro feature. And yeah, that's just a really useful thing if you want to say, if you want to put your logo as well, like when we get to MailerLite, I've got my logo in there on a transparent background, so that if I want to put it as a header and put a background color behind it, it doesn't matter then what background color I use. I can just use the same logo file. So yeah, being able to download things with transparent backgrounds is a super helpful tool. Tip number 3, creating a brand kit. Now I said before, I've got a Canva workshop that does take you through creating a brand kit, which you can do then on the free version as well. But in the pro version, you can set up certain brand elements, things like logos, colors, and fonts, and then it gives you easy access to them in whatever design you're in. So if I just show you in here, is it in that one? No, it won't be. If I go back to the Canva homepage and into the brand section, which you can see here, it's got a pro feature on it. So this is only and then brand kits. This is my brand kit, and I've got all my different logos here. So I've got my old ones, my new ones, this Mum Loves Tech one. I've got all my colors, I've got different clients, color palettes, and then I've got my fonts already kind of pre-selected. So then if I go into a file, so I've gone back into this one, if I want to put in a color, say here, so if I click on this background element, I've then got all my colors here and all my clients ones, but they're already preset. If I want to add in a brand element, I've got all my logos here already. So I haven't got to worry about uploading them all. They're all kind of set. And the same with the fonts. If I want to change a font, it gives you here the font for your brand kit. So that's a really useful pro feature. Most of the things with the pro stuff is just to speed up your content creation to make it as quick as possible. And then taking that one step further, in Canva Pro, you can actually create brand templates. And I think this is my favorite feature because it means you can turn any document into a brand template, and you can use those templates across different projects, which I find really helpful for social media. And I use it a lot in my Facebook group. I've designed kind of a set of templates, and then I'll start a document for the month. I tend to keep my Canva documents by month just so that there's not so many in one file. And I can just pull in the templates that I want to use for that month. So let me show you what I mean by that. So this is a blank Instagram post, Facebook post size template. If I go into this brand thing here, I've now got brand templates. And if I see all of these are my Facebook group ones. You can see there's 22 in there. So I've now got all of these templates, and I can just decide, right, well, this Monday, I'm going to have that one. And that's my post done. And then I add another page and be like, well, Tuesday, I want to have that design. And then I just fill in the information for that post, but the design's already there. And then and so on. I've got the templates there. I just put in the little bit of text. And again, it's just all about speeding up those processes so you can spend less time doing this kind of thing and more time doing the actual things that are going to make you money. Because at the end of the day, that the marketing is sometimes fun to do and we can really get into it, but it's actually delivering your products and services that is going to get you the money at the end of the day. Right, so then to make a brand kit, so I didn't actually tell you how to do that. So say I wanted to use this file here with all my Reels covers as a brand kit. When you go up to share, you can make it here a brand template, and then that will automatically add it to this section up here. When you open a new file, it will be there. And then what it means is if I want to change any of the templates, if I go back into the original file that I used to create the brand templates with, I could then update them, and it will automatically update them in here. So then next time I can use the updated brand files. Hopefully that all makes sense. And then my final pro tip is the resize tool. I've been using this a lot recently while I was getting my membership up and running, because the video platform I was using and the course platform and the blog posts all had slightly different sizes. Of course they do. Nothing would be the simple to all be the same size. So rather than starting from scratch again, I created the design once and then just resized it to the new size. And I just had to maybe fiddle a little bit with the posts, but for the most part it works really well. So if I just show you that in action, if I go back to this real one again, if you go to this up at the top blue section here, there's resize, and it gives you all these different kind of options of what you want to resize to. So say I want to resize this to a post, yeah, a square one. I could then either copy it, so it will copy the design and resize it, or I can resize this original one. And as you can see, that's the kind of the preview of what it would look like. So it's not exactly right, but I could then pull out that main middle bit if I wanted to fill that space. And then that's a lot quicker than like copying and pasting each individual element over into a new size document. And what you can also do with the resize, which I think is really cool, is you can transform it into a doc. Now I've used this, if I've done like a carousel post or something like that, and it's got loads of text on it, you can go and transform it into a doc, and you can transform it into like a blog post, and it will take the content from that carousel and kind of using AI, kind of make it into a blog post for you. Because if you've already done the work once, you don't want to have to do it again. So yeah, that's a super helpful pro feature. Right, how am I doing for time? Right, so that's all my Canva stuff. So hopefully that has given you some top Canva tips. I now want to go on to MailerLite, so because I'm very conscious of getting them all in the time, and then we'll do some Q&A at the end. So what is MailerLite? MailerLite is an email marketing platform that helps you communicate with your audience, manage subscribers, and automate emails. I use MailerLite a lot, especially with everything I've been doing with my membership, to kind of automate sending emails out to people when they join, sending out emails for people to get the sign up links, all that kind of stuff is done automatically. I haven't got to be constantly in my inbox, which is especially helpful because my membership launched at 9 o'clock this morning and I was in the car. So it meant that people were joining the membership while I was driving because it was all done automatically, which is super helpful. And why?
Nicola, we're still looking at your MailerLite screen. You might know that.
Sorry.
MailerLite screen, your Canva screen. Sorry, that's it.
Apologies. There we go.
It's all good. It's all good.
Right. So what is that's not spelt right. That should be saying what is why use MailerLite? That's what it should say, not what. Never mind. Why use MailerLite? Spelling is not my thing. Tech is my thing. But there we go. So the main reason to have an email list is because we don't own our social media. If your account gets hacked or Facebook decide randomly to take down your business page or something like that, you don't then have a way of contacting your followers and continuing to make sales. But with email marketing, you own your own list. As long as people opt in to hear from you, which is needed for GDPR purposes, then you can contact them as often as you want. And it just helps you communicate on a one-to-many basis rather than a one-to-one, but you can still personalize the email, so you can still address them personally to people. You can change the wording slightly of different emails going out to different sets of your subscribers. And this is all done through your email marketing tool and rather than your inbox. So my 5 tips for MailerLite. I'm not going to flick between these because for GDPR purposes, I can't show you the people that are on my email list. But my top tips for MailerLite are setting up default settings. So in the main setting, I probably can show you that bit actually. This is MailerLite, if those of you who haven't seen it before. And if you go into your account settings, they have these default settings here. And this is really good to do if you're just first setting up your account, because you can set things like add a logo. You can add brand fonts, brand colors. You can add all your social links. So then when you drag in different section things in the template, so like say you drag in your footer, it will automatically update with the right information. Company details. Now, if you don't come in and change this, it will automatically put in your address. And if you don't want that shown, you need to come in and change it here. And then if you want to personalize your unsubscribe information, this is where you can do that. And what's the really helpful thing is if you save changes, if you have not used this before, but you have used MailerLite, it will automatically update any of the kind of automations, landing pages, forms that not forms actually, landing pages, campaigns, anything that's in your draft with this new information. So when I changed my logo over earlier this week, it said like, oh, you've got 15 automations do you want to update them? And I did. So it meant that I don't have to now manually go in and change all the logos. It's done that for me, which is a super helpful thing to do. So I would definitely recommend, if you are getting started with MailerLite, or even if you hadn't done it up until this point, is going and setting up your default settings. Next one, oh, kind of connected to that, like I said, is updating your company details. So this is so that when you drag the footer section in that's the bottom, it doesn't automatically update with your default settings. If you drag in a new footer section, it will then update with your company details and the right social icons, the right logos, the right business name, all that kind of thing. So yeah, that my tip there really is, if you're using MailerLite and you're starting a new email campaign and it's the very first one, go and drag in the footer. Kind of, they have different modules of different sections, like text and images, and one of them, there's different designs for the footer, and basically you'd want to drag that in once you've set up your default settings, and then it automatically updates it all for you, which is super helpful. My third tip for MailerLite is keeping your names across all your files the same. So for those of you who don't know that much about how MailerLite works, you need people to opt in to your email list, and this is normally done by a form or a landing page, and then they get assigned to a subscriber group. Now, with all these different moving parts, it can get a bit confusing knowing what form goes with what landing page, what form goes with what subscriber group. And then if you start getting onto automations, which is where you can start doing things like sending emails automatically when someone does something, again, it gets really difficult to track it all, which is why I recommend keeping everything the same. So for example, for my membership sign up, I have a form that's called membership sign up. They then go into a group that's called membership signups, which triggers an automation called membership signups. And then I know all those things are connected. So if I change something, I know it's going to affect all the things called the same thing. And it just makes it easier, especially when you get to a point where you have multiple groups, multiple forms for loads of different things. Keeping everything the same just makes it easier to keep track of what's going on. Copy and drafts to keep the formatting. Now, MailerLite is free for your first 1,000 subscribers. But one of the things that it doesn't have in the free version is templates. So the way I get around that is I'll create an email kind of template that I want to use, and once I've sent it out once, I'll then just duplicate it and copy it to drafts. And then I can just keep duplicating that same email and using that as my template, rather than actually having a template that I'm selecting. So you can do that with forms as well, because for some reason in MailerLite, the forms don't pick up your default settings. So you do have to do that manually from scratch. So once you've done it once, you do not want to be doing that again. So by copying a form to your drafts, you'll keep all that formatting, and you don't have to keep repeating the process. As you'll notice, a lot of my tips are all about saving time, because I don't like taking too long on things when they don't have to be. And then my final tip when it comes to MailerLite is using automation triggers when a subscriber joins a group. So a little brief bit about automations. That's when people sign up say you've got a freebie, or in my case, I have my free masterclasses that I run every month. People sign up to them. I want them to then automatically get the details for the Zoom call, so that they get that. I have got my sign up form in a few places. I've got it on my main masterclass page. I've also got it on blog posts to the side, and they're two different forms. And when you set up an automation, you have to set a trigger of what is going to make this automation start. And you can do when a subscriber completes a form, I prefer when a subscriber joins a group, and that's because of the fact that I have these multiple forms. If I had when a subscriber joins a form, I would have to do a new automation for each form that I've got. Whereas by doing when a subscriber joins a group, I can have multiple forms all linked to the same group, and it would just trigger the one automation, and it makes keeping on track of things a lot simpler because you're only asking it to do one thing. So I hope that makes sense. If you don't know a lot about MailerLite, that probably has just kind of completely gone over your head. I have got a kind of getting started with MailerLite masterclass in my membership. And yeah, I recommend MailerLite to all my clients because it's a great tool to get started with when it comes to email marketing, because you can do so much on the free plan. I don't know if I mentioned already, but you can have up to 1,000 subscribers on the free plan. You can have multiple subscriber groups and automations, which a lot of the other platforms don't give you. Yeah, so hopefully they don't change their mind anytime soon. But yeah, for the moment, it's there's a lot you can do. I'm still on the free version. I haven't upgraded it yet because I don't need to. Right, how are we doing for time? I think I've just got about enough time to go to my last tech tool, because I did want to do 3 for you today. And the third one is Google Workspace. Now, Google Workspace is kind of a collection of apps that help you that from Google, and it includes Gmail, Drive, Docs, Sheets, Slides, Calendar, Meet, and Forms. Well, there are a few other ones, but they're kind of the 8 main ones. If you're not familiar with Google Workspace, Docs is like Word, Sheets is like Excel, Slides is like PowerPoint, basically. And the reason I like Google Workspace is because it's all cloud-based. So I can go from my laptop to my phone to my desktop computer to my husband's phone if I've lost mine, and log into my same account and access the same files. It just makes it easy if you're on the move doing different things. I was saying to someone at the networking event today, like if I'm like maybe writing some notes, I can do that on a doc on my phone, and then I can get home and I can write it out into, say if it was notes for a blog or something, I could then use that same document to write out the full blog post. And I haven't got to, copy and paste anything. I can literally go from one thing to another. What's the difference between free vs paid Google Workspace? The main difference between the two is your email. With a free account, your email ends in @gmail.com, and with the paid one, it ends in your business name. So at whatever your domain name is, your business name.co.uk.com, whatever you decided to call yourself. And the apps themselves are the same, regardless of whether you've got a @Gmail or a @business name account. The difference is how you access them. So if you're using the paid Google Workspace, you'll be accessing it all through your business email, which is a great it just again keeps things all together. You're using your business email to do everything then. So I have the paid for Google Workspace account. It costs about £6 a month. And it allows you then to have a Gmail inbox. So the way that it looks is exactly the same as a Gmail inbox, but it's just using your domain email address. And this not only looks more professional, but as I said, it gives you access to the rest of the apps through that business email. So you can keep all your documents and communications under one single account. If you are considering using Google Workspace at any point, I have got an affiliate link which will get you it for £5 a month for the first year. So either send me a DM or something if that is something you might be interested in. Right, now let's quickly go into my top tips. So the first one is to do with Gmail, and that is to use filters to keep your inbox clean. Now, Lizzie, who's on this call, is my VA, and she has done an amazing job of this, of cleaning. I think I had about 12,000 emails in my inbox or something ridiculous like that. And she's used filters So now I think I have about 30 emails in my inbox, and things automatically get tagged in different labels. And it just is so much easier to help me stay organized and focus on what's important. So that's, yeah, my top tip when it comes to, and the filters you can use on the free Gmail version. Yeah, it's just a Gmail feature. And then talking about Google Calendar, one of my favorite top tips there is setting reminders and notifications. I literally don't know what I would do without my Google Calendar. My whole life is in there. And I set reminders so that I can that, you know, notify me of things that are going on. And you can get events to repeat, like daily, weekly, yearly. So if you've got an ongoing meeting that happens every week, or ongoing call, you can set it in your calendar to repeat every week, and it's then just there in your calendar. I use it in this way for birthdays. So when, especially if like one of my friends has a baby, I quickly like put their birthday in when they're born and the year that they were born, and I just get it to repeat every year. And then because it's there with the year that they were born, I can work out how old they are, which is very helpful when you're trying to get birthday cards. So yeah, that is my top tip for Google Calendar. My Google Drive tip is there is an app, Google Drive for desktop, which not a lot of people know about. And if you download that, you can actually get access to your Google Drive folder through like your desktop files. So you can then copy files from your desktop straight into the folders without having to like upload them and things like that, which makes it really a lot easier to kind of organize. And the main reason I really love the Google Drive for desktop is, you know, when you get you're in something like Canva or any kind of program where you need to upload something from your desktop, you can then have access to your Google Drive that way. It becomes one of the folders that you can access, rather than having to download the file from Google Drive to put it on in your desktop to then be able to upload it. Again, it's just cutting out the steps by using that app. And it's available on Mac and PC. I'm on a Mac, and I know it's really easy to set up. You just download an extension, and then it syncs it with your Google Drive folder. And then this is my tip for Google Docs, and that is sharing and real-time editing. So one of the really cool things that I love about Google Docs is you can share it with other people, and then they can edit the document and you can see what they've edited, and you can edit things back. So I do it a lot with clients, especially when I'm doing websites, is I'll set up a document and then they can add all the information that they want me to put on their website. And rather than going backwards and forwards on loads of emails, we're using this one document. And then if I update something or I've got a question, I can put it on the document, tag them in it, and it notifies them that I've asked them a question. And then you just have this like real-time document that you're working on that's all kept in one place. You haven't got to kind of scroll back through emails and think, what did they say they wanted to do about this thing? It's all like in this one document. So that is my top tip for when it comes to Google Docs. And then my final tip is Google Forms. So I use Google Forms to kind of collect information about people, do surveys, that kind of thing. And what you can do is you can connect your Google Forms to Google Sheets, and it will automatically put all the entries that people have given you into a spreadsheet. And that makes it really easy to find the information and store it, rather than it does automatically filter it in Google Forms, but having it saved to a sheet means that you can kind of put filters and all that kind of thing on to kind of find, especially if you've asked people certain questions. Like I've just set up a form for people that join the membership to kind of give me some information, and one of the questions I've asked them is, when do you want the Q&A call? And I've given them about 10 different responses, where I can set up a filter in the sheet that will I could then tick the different times and it will show me the people that have answered. So then I can work out which time is the most popular. Yeah, so they are my very quick Google Workspace tips. I have got a full masterclass on Google Workspace in the membership that kind of goes through each app in a lot more detail, and I have 3 tips for each app. So I've talked about it enough. So now this is the bit that I haven't yet updated, but it actually launched today in my membership, and it's at the founding price of £9 a month for the moment, because all that's in there at the moment is the 3 masterclasses that I've already done. So that is MailerLite, Canva, and Google Workspace. And if you join in the next 7 days, you can also go into a kind of draw to win one of 3 power hours with me, which are worth £65 each. And I'm going to draw them next week live in my Facebook group. So as well as the paid for membership, I also have a free Facebook group called This Mum Loves Tech. And that's where I do the monthly masterclasses. So the original masterclass is free to join. You just need to sign up for it. And then you have access to the replay for 5 days. And then once those 5 days is over, the masterclass will then go into the membership. So if you want to have, you know, lifetime access to it, that would be via the membership. And then I'm also going to be doing monthly Q&A calls to kind of answer all your tech questions and putting in kind of little how-to videos on different things that the members want to know about. If there's like someone asked me the other day to do with MailerLite that all their font settings were going all over the place, and it was a client of mine. I did a little video for her showing her how to kind of sort out those font issues. And it's things like that, like people come to the Q&A calls, they say I've got this problem, and if I think there's a video that I can do with it that will benefit all the members, I'm then going to be recording it and adding it into the membership. So yeah, that's a little bit about kind of the services that I offer. I'm going to stop sharing now. Hopefully that gives us now enough time for some Q&A and for me to go back over anything if I've totally just blown your brain, because I do apologise that I've gone through that very, very quickly.
I'm kind of in awe of you right now that you managed to do that, because Matt, you must be so tired. So you did amazingly. I was just, when you were talking about Canva and the resize tool, I resized my whole book from A4 to 8x10 using that tool. If it hadn't existed, I'd had to have literally reset every single page. So yeah, massive fan of Canva. Does anyone have any questions for Nicola?
I didn't see, I know there's stuff on the chat.
I've got a quick one, Nicola, which I think Linda and I've talked about before. I don't know if there is an answer to it. Are you able to put your photos that you've uploaded into folders on Canva?
Yes, you can. Yes. So let me stop sharing that one because I'm going to get confused with myself. So yeah, if I share my screen, if you go to your uploads, click on and do this little tick here. Can you see it shows a folder?
Oh.
And then it says move to folder, and then it gives all your folders up here, or you can create a new folder as well.
Nice.
And then the folders will appear like here. And then you can, if you want to just get pictures from a folder, you can just select that folder and it will just show you the pictures within that folder. That's
helpful if you're doing like business and personal stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's why I've got like photo book. That's my kids' photo books that I do every year. I stick them in a folder because otherwise my whole thing will be full of pictures of the kids.
It's a good idea to use it for photo books.
Oh, I do all like loads of like photo gifts, cards, photo books, everything in Canva. Yeah, I literally use it for everything. What was the question? I want to know what that blue toy is. Oh, it's my son did a project over the summer and it's a golden train out of recycling. So yeah, that's what that, and I had to I printed him out a sheet to put it in his book bag. So
it looks very different when it's like this big on my computer.
Yeah, bless him. He's very proud of his train. And the task on Google Calendar keep rolling over complete. Oh yes, yes. Liz has given another top tip there about Google Calendar. If you set it up as a reminder, I think it is. If you don't tick that you've completed it, it will keep showing up until you tick that I've done that thing. Yeah. What else is there? Oh, Lucy said a question. Also work for carousels, as I always get mixed up when I put it on Meta. Oh, is that about the naming? Yeah. So I do that a lot for carousels and name them like and then yeah, I think that's what that question relates to.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I just love, like I said, I create a file for each month because otherwise it gets too big, I think. So I mean, I haven't been posting very much over the summer, but I'm planning to get back to it. So I'll have like September files for all my different things, my reel covers, my posts, my Facebook group. There'll be like a September folder with all that art stuff in, and then like I said, I put all the dates in so I can then batch create the artwork and download it, and then if I go back a week later and I think, what was that post for? Oh yeah, it was the one I was going to send on that day, which relates then to the kind of where I've got the written caption, because I can be like, right, that artwork now goes with that one, and it's got all the dates there. So yeah, it's all about connecting things and yeah, saving time really.
Absolutely. I have another question. Has anyone else got a question before I throw a second one in? Is that Charlotte? Just moved on my screen. Go for it.
Yeah, well, I realised that since I left school, I have hardly used computers apart from like data entry for deliveries and stuff like that, and emails, and absolute bare minimum, to the point where everything, especially still at Broomfield, is really like paper diaries, and we're like, we really should get away from this, and I really don't even know where to start with stuff like that. So I don't know if there's any like tech for idiots guides, because I did like had my business for 3 years. I got or nearly, I think. I got a website I designed through GoDaddy, which came I got the email address with that and 365 package that I'm paying for. And I just think I'm not using this anywhere near. I'm sure there's loads more things that I could be doing and organize my business and my calendar. And I've got like a separate calendar, and I like the separate calendar, and it's all color coded. It needs to be because my head's spinning, but it doesn't link up with anything else. And it's just, I've got to be able to do it better, I'm sure.
Yeah, so is the calendar a Google Calendar, or is it like an iCal or something like that?
Yeah, one like that, I think. Like, how's that the one? It can be all color coded. That's all I know. And I've got like kids, ponies, NHS, private work, all in different colors. And that's about, and rolling, work every day, this times or whatever. But it's just like basic things where I feel like I've really missed out on working in an environment where people use tech properly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people, they beat themselves up about the tech. And the fact is, if you're not been in this world or done this kind of thing, why would you know it? It's not something that you would, and I say it often to people, it's an unfortunate side effect of having to have an online business is understanding the tech. And that's why I really want to try and break it down for people, and make things as simple as possible, and connect things up so they do work for you the best way possible. I don't do Microsoft 365, but there is someone in my membership that is a Microsoft. They love Microsoft as much as I love Google, basically. So if you want to stick with Microsoft, I can put you in touch with them.
I just don't know, I just did what seemed like an easy option at the start, and now I'm like, can I change my website? Can I change my email? I don't bloody know. Like,
you definitely
I do not know anything. Obviously for COVID, we started using Teams at work, but we are definitely not using it how it should be used. And I've still got everything saved on my desktop. I feel like I'm like my nan.
Oh, bless you.
I'm that person, and I'm trying, but I only know what I've figured out on my own, and I know that there's so much more that probably could be helpful.
Well, what I say to a lot of my clients as well is to kind of look at all the different processes that you do in your business, like what are you doing manually, and look at, and then that's when I say, like, have a discovery course on it, and we can go talk through what are all these things that you're doing, and is there a tech tool that can help you do it automatically? Because often there is. And then it's the question of, is you learning how to use it, although that will take time, in the long run going to save you time?
Yeah.
Or are you better off getting someone else to do it for you, like a VA, that can then just take that job off your hands? And it's kind of like them prioritizing, right, I know I need to do this. Do I learn to do it myself, or do I get someone to do it for me?
Yeah.
Charlotte, I think you might need a power hour of Nicola. Just to get things like clear in your head, and like she said, like go through what's going on, because you don't want to invest money and stuff.
Well, that's it. Like there's yeah, you end up, you can do that, can't you? Just go and go, somebody help me, fix me, and still not know, and not have explored all the different options for how to spend your money and get these tech processes a bit, better for us.
And it's looking at the whole goal as well. It's not just the one task. What's the end goal? What do you want people to be able to do? Like kind of mapping out the whole kind of journey of when someone first gets in contact with you. Okay, well then how do they book a call with you? Do you want them to email you? Do you want to use kind of an online booking system? Okay, well then if they've booked the call with you, what platform are you then going to use to talk to them? Are you going to do it on Teams? You're going to do it on Zoom? How can we get things like that to connect automatically? And then it's like the next stage, right? Well, if you've had a call with someone and they want to book a thing with you, how are they going to pay you? You're going to send an invoice. You're going to send an automatic payment link. It's not just talking about the one problem. It's the whole overview, and then looking at, okay, well then these are the kind of tech tools that can help you with doing all these different bits.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
It helps. I use Google Workspace, and given that we're probably taking on clients in just the same way, so the website is set up to funnel the user towards a call, because anytime there's an option to have a free call, the conversion into then seeing that client is ridiculously high.
Yeah.
And it's important that I have that call, because then I'm not turning, because I'm visiting people's homes, I'm not turning up to some stranger's house. I turned up one time to a man at the door, and I realized I'd only been texting. I hadn't spoken to the mum. This was very, very early on. And I thought, wow, this is so risky. This should not be part of my policy. So the policy is, no matter what happens, speak to the mum and then turn up to the house. But when I get a call and the potential client turns into a real client, that triggers a process. I send them a Google form link. They fill in the Google form. When that's completed, that adds them as a contact to my phone. When I look at the contact on my phone, I then click for directions. That takes me straight to Google Maps, which then I'm sitting in the car. That map takes me straight to their front door. It also creates a folder within Google Workspace. So then when I fill in my standard forms that I'm going to be sending back to them with all their information and their kind of plans, that's sent back. It's sent back as a PDF. I don't have to think about doing it as a PDF. And then I don't need to, but I can set up notifications in Google Calendars to then ring them back, follow up, and all the rest of it. So Google Workspace for the kind of clients we're seeing is probably the tool. But if you can link it with your website as well, then the whole thing can feed itself. But Nicola's dead right. Once you've got your kind of, if you can draw a sort of client journey, so I'm sitting at home, I'm really struggling with breastfeeding. What do I do? It's kind of work out the steps that would make it easiest, that creates the least friction between going on to Google and going, I hate breastfeeding, and then getting to the other end where, oh my God, thank God it's not painful anymore. So it's making that journey really easy, and you know what you'd want as a client, or and if it's hard thinking about it, then what would it take for you to get a window cleaner? There might be a process that you go through for that. It's the same, it's often the same process with some tweaks, but I think for us, it's about keeping our client information really clear and getting the backwards and forwards communication as slimline and streamlined as possible, so that we're not spending time on the pointless emails. We're actually, on the phone listening or with them. So yeah, Google Workspace has completely changed everything for me. But I was trying to work out Canva, because I am hopeless on Canva, and it's because I had children the moment Canva really exploded. So this whole thing of Canva has happened while I've been watching CBeebies, and now I come back and I have no idea what I'm doing. Canva, oh my God, I could use Microsoft Word. But yeah, so I've got to learn that as well. Yeah.
Well, I hope you found the Canva tips helpful and it didn't go over your head too much. I do offer power hours. So this Mum Loves Tech, the membership, which already has the masterclass in that I said. But if you want to work one-to-one, I do offer power hours, which are £65, and they're done over Zoom, and they're recorded and then sent to you. So if I do talk too fast, which I have a habit of doing, because I want to cram in as much as possible, you then get the recording and you can slow it down and do it in little sections to go through it again at your own pace.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
I have a question, if possible. Sorry, I wasn't at the beginning able to introduce myself because I was stuffing my face with dinner. But I run baby and toddler classes, and one of the things that I offer is each class has their own WhatsApp group set up so that the mums can talk and so that I can communicate, and I find it really, really helpful for notifying them of changes and things that are happening and all that kind of stuff. And when you were talking about like what can you streamline, what can you like not do manually, setting up those WhatsApp groups is a really long manual task, and I'm sure Sophie knows exactly my pain because I know you do the same. And I just wondered if there was any way that I can stop having to manually put into my phone everybody's contacts details, then manually add every single person to individual WhatsApp groups.
Do you use email marketing?
Yeah, so I use MailerLite.
So it could I don't know, I must confess I don't know enough about connecting up WhatsApp, whether you can, if you set the group up and then gave the link to if you set up your subscriber groups per each, so that every time people sign up for a certain class, they're tagged with that group, you could then send an email to that group with the WhatsApp link and then they can join themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, I used to run a baby and toddler group, and we had exactly the same thing. So when someone turned it for the first week, I used to give them a QR code, but it's exactly the same as a link in an email. And you can't guarantee everyone is going to sign up, but generally if someone's paid, then that's an added benefit of being able to be part of that group. And then they just self-join.
That sounds good. So how do you create the link in the first place?
I think if you create the group, you can then go, let me just check it on my phone. If you create the
in
group,
WhatsApp,
you can then get the link to that group. And then you could add that onto the email and send it out.
So if you, I don't know if you can see on there is an invite, so you can't see anyone, invite to group via link.
Oh yeah.
In the admin bit where you click in.
So
Good
when
to
you're
know.
setting up your classes, if you pre-set up the WhatsApp groups, and then
Yeah.
as people book, they get the confirmation and it has the right link in it and it says join the WhatsApp group, then you don't have to go through and add them yourself.
Oh,
Another
so also, would it then add them as a contact to my phone? Or they would just be in my WhatsApp group? That's fine.
Yeah.
They can be in my WhatsApp group as their number, and I would still, I wouldn't even need to necessarily, or no, I would want to match up names and numbers.
So
But
sometimes it will give you their name. So in the group that I'm just looking at that I had set up, sometimes it is just their number, and that's probably where they've got a setting of don't make my number public. But for the majority of them, it's got their name. It wouldn't say Lucy, mum of Jessica.
yeah,
But it would have, it depends what you need the group for, but it would have, they would be in there. I'd say 80% of the names have got numbers.
And then it could just manually do the few that aren't.
Yeah, if you've got their numbers somewhere, you could check, couldn't you?
Well, if you when you do this, put them in, if they go into MailerLite, if you just make one of the fields that they have to fill in is their number,
yeah,
then you can like MailerLite is way more than just sending emails. You can use it like almost like a CRM, because you've got all the details there. If you tag them, you can then see you've got all that information to hand of who signed up for what classes, all their contact details, because it's whatever you've asked them to fill in when they've signed up.
Yeah, so they sign up and they book through a booking site, but then it's how to then get them into MailerLite. I guess I'd have to take their emails off of the booking
Does it integrate with the booking site?
No idea.
Sometimes they have built-in integrations with different email marketing tools, and that will then feed them into MailerLite for you. Or you can use something like, have you heard of Zapier or Zapier, however you say it? And that will then create the connection for you. So you'd say when someone books, and you can add them to MailerLite, and it will ask you what fields you want to fill in and all that kind of stuff. And you set that up the once, and then it will like keep happening for you. But hopefully the booking system has its own inbuilt integration.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you.
Another thing to add on that, just because I heard it mentioned at the business showcase today, and some people weren't aware of it, and I wasn't aware of it, is that on WhatsApp groups you can have community functions. I don't know if that would help you, Sarah. I don't know whether you could like have a general community, because apparently the posts stay there. If you add new members, you can see the past posts, and I'm just wondering, can you have like a generic or a few generic communities for each of your age groups or something, so that you don't have to like repost things every time you start a new group? But I don't know if that would work. You'd have like new and old members, and it just might be something for people to look at in general, like the community function if they've got WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, my little girl's football has got that, and I've been like, what is this whole thing? But
I don't know.
I've just been added into it, and but yeah, now that you say about it, that makes more sense as to what it actually is.
Yeah. And the other thing, I don't know if you, with your booking system, whether there's like a like confirmation page or something they get automatically that you can edit with maybe a link to a WhatsApp group, if it was a community group, and they could just somehow easily get onto that. Don't know.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
Yes, thank you. I'm just jotting this down before it goes out of my head.
Any more questions?
I wondered, could you show us how to use a filter on the inbox? Sorry, that was really blank, wasn't it? On Google Workspace, using filters to keep your inbox clean. I think I've done it before and messed it up. So
yeah,
I'm not going to start again.
Into it, because again, I can't show you my inbox because of GDPR. Right, let me show the share. I mean, Lizzie is probably the best person to ask about this, because like I said, she set all mine up for me. So if you go into settings, it will bring up a bar along the side that then says see all settings. If I do it again, oh no, it's not going to let me. And then it'll bring up this is what you're looking for. And if you go into filters, so as you can see, I have a lot. And you can set them up so that this skip inbox. So these ones don't go into my inbox at all. They get applied with a label, and that they automatically go into one of my folders, so I can then go and read them at another point. But yeah, I've got a lot. So you can create a new one, and it will ask you who it's from. And you can really get specific, like if it includes a specific word, and then when you get onto the next page, it then asks you where do you want to put them, like once you've got an email from this person, and that's where you can tick that they get labeled by something. You can do the skip the inbox feature and all that different kind of stuff.
That's great, thank you.
No problem. I think that might be it.
Did you have one more question, Jen? You were going to ask before, or was it?
But I'm conscious of time and it's a bit confusing, so don't worry. All good.
Let's let Nicola have a rest, maybe a massive
Not
glass
so
of wine.
exhausted.
We would normally, obviously you've not been before, Lizzie, we'd normally do a little wind down at the end, but again, I'm conscious that it's 9 o'clock and I think we should stick to our boundaries a bit on meetings if everyone gets a bit of an evening afterwards. So, but I would recommend everyone does have a little bit of a chill now. But thank you so much, Nicola. I mean, that was of such value. You have, yeah, you're a genius. Genius.
Oh, thank you. Is it all right to put a post in the group afterwards about like the membership and all that kind of stuff?
Of course it is.
Definitely,
Yeah.
but
Of
please
course
don't do
it
it
is.
tonight. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
I might forget by tomorrow.
Okay.
Have a rest. Have a rest. And again, we record all these meetings and they go into our training bank. So do make sure you have a look, everyone in the village generally. I think we forget sometimes we've got some really, I'm going to, for example, my new goal this term is to do blogging. So I'm going to go back and watch the training that we had from Lemon Drop, which was really, really good. And that's just sitting in our resource bank, which I can't remember the name of right now. What do we call it, Jen? Training?
The training village.
The training
That
village.
was Lemon Drop copy, wasn't it?
Yeah. So do you remember that's there for you? Thank you for coming tonight, Lizzie. It was lovely to see you. And thank you
Lovely
everyone else for
comments
coming.
in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, really helpful. Yeah, have a lovely evening. We'll be in touch on Facebook generally. And it was, yeah, good luck for September.